Yes, sir. I couldn't see him.
Just give me a second.
Yes, sir.
Just
Sure.
give me a second.
Sure, sir. I want to make sure that you are unmuted.
Yes.
Yes, I think that we can start now.
Yes, now you can see me. And I'm unmuted. Yes. Everything is fine.
Yes, you are unmuted. So, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation in our today's talk. And thank you especially those who attended our last meeting and sent your contact details again to register for our today's talk. We really appreciate it, and we assume that you have the interest in meeting our guest speakers and, of course, learning from our guest speakers, which really provide food for thought. So we want to make the registration process a bit easier for you. From now on, we'll send the link to our upcoming meetings to your inbox, to all our registered participants inbox. So you don't have to send us your contact details again for our upcoming talk. So please keep your eyes on the Facebook page of the Phoenix to know about the update of our upcoming and next talk. So good evening, everyone. And this is Noreen Akhtar, Assistant Editor of the Phoenix, currently teaching at Anandaniketan School. I welcome each and everyone to our today's talk on ethics of teaching. We are honored and privileged to have Dr. Selim Jahan, Professor, Oxford University, and former Professor, Dhaka University, former official, United Nations. Sir is joining from the UK as a guest speaker. So hello, sir, and good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon to you. Actually, it's a good evening to you.
Yes, good evening for us. So dear respected participants, you are welcome to ask questions to our guest speaker in the question answer session at the end of our meeting. So you can also text your questions during the chat box. And I'd request you to keep patience in case of power cut or any technical issues. Please join us if you face such problems following the same link, same ID, and same password. So your cooperation is highly appreciated. Now I would request Pranab Kanti Dev, Assistant Editor, Assistant Professor, and the Editor of the Phoenix to introduce our guest speaker to the audience. Pranab sir, are you there?
Yes. Okay, Ms. Noreen Akhtar Kohli, for nice beginning. I would like to welcome all of our guests once again. Good evening. You already have mentioned from our assistant editor, Ms. Noreen, about our today's speaker. Our today's speaker is Dr. Selim Jahan. I think he is popularly known to all. Most of our audience may have heard his name. So he was born in Barishal. He was a student of Dhaka University. After completing his education, he started his career as a teacher of Dhaka University. And through the courses of his long and glorious professional life, he teaches at different universities at home and abroad. Like he teaches in different universities of Canada, he teaches in the USA, and currently he teaches at Oxford University that you already have heard. So apart from teaching, he was also working with many international organizations like UNDP. He works with ILO, he works with World Bank, and so many and United Nations. Now, and apart from his teaching, he is also a good writer. He has many books, especially deals with the economics, like political economics, development economics. But he has some books on Bengali also. If I just share it with you about his books are like Freedom for Choice. He has some Bengali books like Poraner Atol Bohine, স্বল্প কথার গল্প, বেলা অবেলার কথা, etc. So today I would just like to thank him on behalf of all for managing his time for us. Okay, so as you already have heard from our presenter, that at the end of this session we will conduct a question answer session. So if you have anything to share, you can join with us. Okay, so dear participants and guests, dear participants, let us welcome Dr. Selim Jahan to our talk on ethics of teaching. Dr. Selim Jahan, sir, you are welcome, and you are requested to start your session now.
Thank you, Pranab. Good evening to you all. It's 3 o'clock in Oxford right now, but it's about 8 o'clock in Bangladesh. So good evening to you. I feel very much honored and privileged today because I feel like I'm in the same community as you are. Having taught economics at Dhaka University for more than 25 years, and then having taught in different universities of the world, and now being a teacher at Oxford, we all belong to the same community. So it's an honor and a privilege, and I welcome you all to this particular session. The session has been termed as the ethics of teachers. I would try to divide my talk into 5 parts. First, some opening remarks about ethics and its broader implications. Then I'll move to the ethics of human being, and then what the ethics are for a particular person who is a teacher. I'll then move to some discussions about the social context and the kind of the environment in which these issues of ethics are being discussed. And I'll finish my presentation with some concluding remarks. Let me start with 3 opening remarks. First, when we talk about ethics, if we try to define it very simply, these are basically norms, standards, that kind of thing. So we always talk about ethical norms. We all talk about ethical values from a politician. We talk about ethical standards when it comes to environment. So ethics, in a way, are very much related to the norms and the values and the standards that human beings and societies set for themselves. The second point I'd like to make, that when you are talking about ethics, of course, it's a moral issue. There is a morality which is attached to ethics. But I think ethics have a broader implications. The societal context, the context of time, the cultural context, they try to influence and shape ethics. So I don't take ethics more from a moral point of view, which is very important, no doubt about it, but I try to look at the whole question of ethics from a broader perspective of social values, social norms, cultural context, and that kind of thing. And today also, when we talk about ethics of teachers, I'll try to bring that broader perspective and not treat the whole issue just from a moral perspective. The third issue is that teachers are human beings also. So as human beings, we have ethics. We talk about ethical men, non-ethical men, and then we can talk about the ethics of teachers. So I'll also talk a little bit about the ethics of human beings, the humanism, the humanity, and then we'll talk about the ethics of the teachers. So these are the 3 starting points for our discussion. Ethics as norms, standards, and values, a broader perspective on ethics, and third, talking about the ethics of human beings, and then moving it to the ethics of teachers or the teaching profession. Now, if we start talking about ethics of human beings, the ethics of human beings are basically derived what we call humanity or what we call humanism. There are certain values, there are certain norms that human beings as a group and as a human being, as an individual, we always uphold. We try to spread those kind of things. For example, not to do any harm to others, to respect fellow human beings, to be quite sympathetic to the pathos of other human beings. These are some of the ethical issues that we always have uphold. Not to steal from others, not to try to kill others, for example, as an extreme example. These are some of the ethical values that the very notion of humanity or the very notion of humanism gives us. And we try to uphold them, we try to preach them, and we try to basically function within the parameters of those kind of things. So the human beings, as human beings, have certain ethics. Now, one question is often asked in that particular context, which seems to be very interesting to me, is that do you have to be ethical by drawing your ethics from a particular religion? This is a complex question, but we all know that all the religions talk about humanity. All the religions talk about humanism. So whatever be the religion, the very notion of humanity and humanism are at the core of that particular religion, because the religions have developed because for human beings. Now, the fundamental question is that, do you need a religion to be ethical? And my take on that no, because we have thousands or millions of religious people who do all kinds of unethical things. At the same time, you may be very ethical, but you may be an atheist too. So therefore, even the religion is a very good, significant source of ethical values, but to be an ethical person, you don't need religion. You can be religious, but at the same time unethical. You can be ethical, but you may not follow any particular religion. So in my view, religion is neither a necessary nor a sufficient condition for being an ethical person. So that's about the ethics of human beings as a group, or ethics of a particular person. Now, if we move to that next point, where we talk about the ethics of teachers, then we should have a more broader and deeper discussion. For doctors, the issue is very clear-cut, because for doctors, they take the Hippocratic oath, which basically forms the norms, the values, the ethics of a doctor. For teachers, they're not such an oath at all. So in that particular context, when we talk about the ethics of a particular teacher, I think we have to talk about the nature of the work that we do. And in describing that, we should find out what are the kind of the ethical standards that the teachers should follow or teachers should uphold. In my view, the ethics of a doctor saves the life of a person. But the ethics of teachers save the lives of a full society. So I think the ethics of the teachers are no less important than the ethics of doctors or other professions. Now, as I have said, the teachers' ethics come from the kind of the nature of the work that they do. And in that context, I think 5 points are very important. The first point is that the teachers are the custodians of the people they teach. When the guardians, the parents, send their kids, their children, their sons and daughters to schools, to us, they have a trust in us, because we would try to protect those people. We would try not to do something which would hurt those people. We are the custodian of those young people whom, when they come to us for being taught in classes, in campuses, in schools and colleges. Now, then it means that the ethics of the teacher, being in the role of the custodian, is to protect the children or the young people who are in your custody. It asks for proper behavior. It asks for compassion. Because if someone thinks that I'll just go into my class teach as brilliantly as possible, and then get out of the class, I don't think the responsibilities and the duties of a teacher ends at that point, because those people also come to us not only for being taught in a very traditional sense, but also for being enshrined with human values, with cultural norms, with social welfare, and all kinds of things. So I think the first issue of ethics of a teacher is to be compassionate, is to reach out to the students going beyond the studies, and at the same time to be the protector of those people and to ensure the proper behavior which they must have with their students. So these are some of the ethics which we should uphold and follow as custodians of those students. The second point is that the whole profession of teaching is also very interactive. There are two parties involved. If I, for example, work in a machine tool factory, I'm basically working with the machine. But here I'm working with other human beings. So it basically means that it is an interactive process. So when you are dealing with an interactive process, for example, there are ethics of interaction. Because when we interact with others, when we deal with others, there must be mutual trust. There must be honesty, and there must be trust. And there must be mutual respect. And I think this forms the core of the ethics of teachers when we talk about the interactive relationship with the students. When I say mutual respect, it means that, yes, the students will respect the teachers, but the teachers should also respect the students as a human being. And sometimes that mutual respect doesn't exist. And then ethics are being violated. When I talk about honesty, both the teachers and the students must be honest with each other. And from the teacher's side, the honesty doesn't mean only that they will stop the students from doing wrong, or they won't be teaching the students something which is wrong. Honesty also means that the students must have trust in you. Honesty also means, and as I have practiced in my own life, when we go to the class, we should not go there unprepared, because we are paid for that and we're expected to deliver something to the students. So we should never go, and I have never gone to a class without preparing myself for the class. The second part of the honesty is that we are human beings, but we don't know everything. So when a question is asked, and if I don't have the answer, I think the ethics of a teacher demands that I give an honest answer saying, I don't know. There's no shame in saying that I don't know, because people are not expected to know everything. And the best thing is to come back and to the next class and then tell them, here is the answer. So therefore, that is also a kind of an honesty that is very much required. The third is trust. There must be mutual trust in each other. The students look up to us. They take us as a role model. Therefore, we shouldn't do anything that actually break their trust. And in the class, also when we are interacting with the students, I think the issue of fairness, the issue of integrity are very much important. Yes, we are all human beings. We may have some sympathy for some students, or we may like some students better than others. But in treating them in a class or in the context of other things like exams, there should not be any kind of unfairness. So in that respect, the teacher is just like a judge. There cannot be unfairness. There cannot be unequal treatment of different groups of students from a particular teacher. And I think in the interaction with the students, in the interactive process, the ethical standard of a teacher must entail mutual respect, trust, honesty, equal treatment, and fairness. And in that respect, I think it is also ethical on the part of the teachers to deliver his lectures or her lectures, or to teach to the best extent of his or her capability. We enter into the class not to educate the children only, but to provide quality education. And that's very important, because nowadays, in terms of quantity, in terms of enrollment, in terms of graduation, the numbers are huge. But when it comes to the quality, people have different questions. Parents have different questions. Society have different questions.
Very sorry
Yes?
to interrupt you, sir, because our time of the meeting will be finished within 2 minutes. So I want to announce that we'll try with the same link. I'll try to start it over again. If it doesn't work, please go to the Phoenix page. There will be another meeting link. We'll be sharing very quickly, so as soon as possible. I'm so sorry that we have only 1 minute, less than 2 minutes.
So should I get out and then
No,
get
sir,
in again?
yes, that we need to do.
Okay, so are you sending a different link, or it is the same link?
Same link we're trying first. We'll start to try to start. If it doesn't work, within 5 minutes, we'll get the new link on the Facebook page of our Phoenix.
But can you send me to on Messenger also?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.